Okay, so you meet this man, let's call him Prince Charming. You meet Prince Charming, he tells you, hey, I'm a US citizen, let's get married, I'm going to help you file for your green card, because he knows that you are from a different country, and in order to live and work in the US, you need a green card. So Prince Charming tells you, he's in love and he'll get married, and as soon as you're married, he'll file, and tells you all these things, and then you get married. And 6 months later, you're like, hey, honey, let's file for my green card. And he's like, what do you mean? You're so impatient. You're so desperate. We just got married, or, just start saying all these things contrary to what he said before you got married. And he knows, you probably want to go to school. You had other plans or ambitions and stuff to do, and having a green card would be great. And so you're just confused, like, what's going on? But in this situation, Mr. Charming, or Prince Charming, is not violent. He doesn't hit you. He doesn't do anything. He just, he even takes care of you, like he pays for the rent, buys some groceries or whatever, and takes care of you. So he's a nice guy, and so you think. But if you're watching this video and you can kind of relate to the situation where you are married to a U.S. citizen, and your U.S. citizen spouse is not willing to help you file for your green card, even though they already agreed to do it, and now they are torturing you emotionally and refusing to just help you with signing, and pretty much threatening to call immigration anytime you bring it up, or even maybe they already filed, and every time you have an argument, they say, okay, I'm going to call the USCIS, or I'm going to cancel your immigration, or just pretty much torture you just because you don't have your papers. That's the bottom line. Continue watching this video, because you may be eligible to apply for your green card without the help of your U.S. citizen spouse. The USCIS and just the U.S. immigration laws created VAWA as a way to help immigrants who are in a situation where they feel stuck and abused by their U.S. citizen spouse, and feel like they can't leave the marriage because of the immigration benefit. So they created this law to protect people like that. Okay, so what do you need in order to qualify for VAWA? I'm going to discuss some things that you need. I've received a lot of questions, especially from male clients who want to know what VAWA is and want to know if they can qualify. But the first thing I'll say is, if you're a man out there, you're married to a U.S. citizen, and things haven't been going very well in your marriage, there's been a lot of emotional abuse or financial abuse, you may qualify for VAWA. So these questions are like, what is VAWA? Some people don't even know what VAWA is. Well, so what is VAWA? VAWA is, like I said earlier, a provision in immigration law to protect both men and women who have been battered physically or emotionally or financially by a U.S. citizen or permanent resident spouse or parent or child. So it doesn't always have to be a spouse. It could be a qualifying relative, which could be a parent, or I think a child of a U.S. citizen. You can apply to get your green card without getting that relative who has been abusive to you in the past to help you with the application. So some of the questions I get in relation to applying for VAWA is, I don't have a police report. And can I still file if I don't have a police report? I mean, obviously you don't have a police report, because typically the police gets involved when there is physical violence in the home. In my experience, most of the clients who end up involved in the police have to have someone either get removed from the premises or something, because there's violence, there's a weapon or something involved. That's why they call the police. But a typical immigrant is always scared of even involving any type of law enforcement. So when there's no physical violence, you may never have called the police, and that's fine. So for VAWA, You don't need to have a police report. A police report is definitely a good supporting document to support your own statement of abuse, but it's not required. So if you're going through emotional abuse or financial abuse, which I will go into detail a little bit more in this video, you can write your own statement of what has happened, and you have friends and family who you have told the story to, or people who know about your situation, they can also write affidavits for you. You can also get affidavits from your religious leader if you have a pastor or a brother or someone in your religious circle that you talk to, like a therapist or something, someone you go to for some type of counseling or something, your mentor. That type of person can write an affidavit for you. So the reason why I'm focusing on emotional and financial abuse in this video, aside from the questions, is just because with my experience as an African, I know that many Africans always minimize emotional or financial abuse. Anytime there's no, your husband is not beating you, there's no abuse. But honey, if you've lived in the US for maybe 10 years, I know a couple of people who there for like 20 years, your husband is a green card holder or a US citizen, and he just continues to torture you with, I'll file today, I won't file tomorrow. You know, granted, you can't force someone to petition for you. Obviously your husband or wife it's not like they have to, it's not like a requirement or whatever. But whenever the person starts to use the fact that they want to file, or they're going to file to just play with your emotions, that becomes an issue, because it's like they're not letting you be free to either marry somebody else or do something else, get a job, go back to your country, whatever, to move on with your life. You're just there on the hopes that they're going to file, they're not going to file. You know, that's like gaslighting pretty much. They're just giving you hopes and taking it away, giving you hope and taking it away. That's a cruel form of abuse that many Africans tend to minimize. So I really wanted to focus on that in this video. And also financial abuse. What is financial abuse? Financial abuse is if your spouse is just in control of all the money. You don't have any say in how money is spent. I mean, granted, maybe you're not working, you're the immigrant that came in the house, and you're waiting to get your green card to obviously work. But if your spouse, who obviously is supposed to be your financial sponsor with the I-864 as a petitioner, is withholding funds from you and just maybe starving you out, just not giving you enough money to take care of yourself when you ask, or maybe even when they give you money, just making you feel because you're not working or something, you're some worthless immigrant, really torturing you with money. Or if money comes for both of you, like a scenario I know for sure, like you get your tax benefits or something from the government for both of you, and your spouse doesn't even tell you, just spends the money. Or maybe you have a budget for the household that you're supposed to work with, and your spouse just continuously spends the money, and then when you ask, you're like, is my money, you know, don't ask. That type of stuff. It could really rise to the level of abuse if it continues excessively, because it's like this person has taken away your power to obtain the legal documentation to be able to work and be financially free, and then at the same time not still helping you financially. So it's like what are you supposed to do? Now you're stuck in a marriage and you don't know what to do. So every day you're just like thinking and feeling anxious and feeling depressed because you want your papers. I mean, that's very normal. So enough of that. Enough of all of that with dealing with an abusive spouse, U.S. citizen, relative who is basically playing with your emotions just because you want to get a green card. You can reach out to an attorney and get your green card still filed without this person. So one of the things you have to have, like I mentioned, is the police report and your affidavit, your statement of the abuse. And then also you need to show that you once lived with the qualifying relative. So your spouse, you show your lease that you once lived with the relative, because in a case where you've been divorced, you can still file for VAWA if your divorce has been within the past 2 years. So if you're watching this video right now and you already moved out of the house that you lived with your spouse, and you even already filed a divorce because you couldn't take it anymore, it was just too much, but now you still don't have your papers, you could still file for VAWA. Okay, so long as your divorce was not after 2 years, like you haven't been divorced for like 3 to 5 years or 3 years and above, you could still use the fact that you were once married to a U.S. citizen, you lived together, and you endured some abuse, emotional or financial abuse, and now you continue to live in the U.S. and you're a person of good moral character. You'll definitely be able to have a good, strong case to present to the USCIS and file for your VAWA and get your green card. Okay, so I know I've said a lot in this video. I want to recap. Today's video is about VAWA, how to get your green card without an abusive spouse who is emotionally abusive or financially abusive, who doesn't hit you but definitely makes you feel uncomfortable in some kind of way, like something is not right, and you can't say anything because you want to get your green card. This video is to tell you that you don't have to. You can get your green card. Reach out to an attorney to find out whether you meet the qualifications. Definitely reach out to me. I'm Ify, the marriage green card lawyer. My information is in this video as usual, and I can help you determine whether you meet all the seven requirements for a VAWA application, and then you can just go ahead and start doing it. Okay, you need to have proof of your spouse's citizenship or permanent residency. If you don't, for whatever reason, you don't have access to that, still reach out to me. There are things we can do to prove that your spouse is a U.S. citizen, and if you don't have maybe access to your spouse's like birth certificate or naturalization certificate, I can see how that could be hard to get a hold of just because the person is abusive. So I know you don't have free access to their stuff and all of that. So definitely still reach out to me, and we can work on alternative ways to do that and prove that the person is a U.S. citizen and you have the qualifying relationship, that is your marriage, or if it's a parent in abuse, you can prove that it's your child being abusive towards you and all of that. And yeah, that's it. If you provide these things, I'll put the information in my video too, or in the description below somewhere. You're going to be able to know all this criteria and everything that is involved for a VAWA application. And usually the process takes some time, but the great thing is once you have an application in USCIS, a pending application, that helps you with your status. You are no longer like deportable, at least because you have something pending waiting for you, as opposed to being out of status. And then also when your case is received, you can get a decision, something we call a prima facie decision. That is the first decision to say, hey, we haven't approved you yet, but your case looks legit. So we're gonna just say, okay, for now, while we work on that. So with your prima facie decision, you can apply for some benefits and just get some opportunities in your area while you wait for the final decision. So that's just at least peace of mind that you can get. Then you can move out, get your apartment, and just start building your life again, and building your emotional health, and just getting back to where you need to be mentally to move your life forward. Okay, all right, so contact me, subscribe to my channel if you like my content, share it with your family and friends, everyone, and definitely follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and join my group, which is strictly for marriage-based green card. If you are applying, or if you are a petitioner yourself and you want to ask questions or meet other people who are in the same process as you, the link will be in the description to join my group for marriage-based green card support. All right. And then also, if you need a copy of my PDF for the interview preparation, also that information will be in the description, so you can get the questions that you need, or just get the whole guide to prep you for your interview that is coming up, your green card interview that's coming up. All right. Okay. Anything else? I think that's it for this video. I'll see you in my next video. If you have questions, leave it in the comments and I will answer those in my next video. And have a great time and see you later. Bye-bye.